So then I decided to take the pie out of the oven and throw it into the fire.
Anyways, hi everyone. And by everyone, I mean the three people on the screen with me.
Hello.
And Kim, who's gonna watch this later. Hi, Kim from the future. We've been waiting 84 years for this live show.
6 months, same difference.
It's the same thing, okay?
I mean,
Not
We
gonna
gave her
lie.
a year.
Not gonna lie, my memory's so crap that I had to look up the Wikipedia article to refresh myself on what actually happened, like details of what happened in this book. So you guys are still gonna have to guide me. Like Pete and Aoife, you're the most
Fake.
reads on this one.
I also had to look up the Wikipedia summary because I read it a year and a half ago. So,
Yeah.
but I was pleasantly surprised about how much I remembered. So
yeah.
That's also true. I was like, oh, okay, my memory's not as
You
crap
know,
as I thought.
you
Okay.
know, it could be.
Really
I mean, I could be wrong, but that's the thing with most of Tchaikovsky books. Shadows of the Apt. Pete and I had discussion with the Genghis Khan this year. Actually, we read that 3 years back. But once we started talking about it, we were surprised how much we can recollect what happened.
Yeah, for real.
it's stored in like very small brain cells that are at the back that you just gotta take you a little bit, to like massage.
Gotta wiggle them
them,
around
remind
until
it.
they get a little bit bigger and stretched out, and they're like, oh, yes, here we go. And all of a sudden, it's like a balloon.
Anyways, hello everyone. Hi Jay, hi Alicia. I know I already popped up your messages.
Nice.
So yeah, I guess to summarize, can we remind everyone what we thought of the first two books, Shards of Earth and Eyes of the Void, or as I recently found out, and by recently I mean this afternoon, what was it originally called?
Skin Between the Stars.
All the Shards of Earth and the Skin Between Stars.
Oh my gosh, Skin Between the Stars just goes so hard.
It's
It's
so gross.
very mysterious.
It's
It's
great.
gross. It's also gross, which makes sense. So, anyways, general thoughts. How did you guys like the first two books?
I love Shards of Earth actually. I think I read that in January. It is still one of my favorite books I read this year. I love the world and characters. I mean, I think even in first book I liked, but by the end of this trilogy, this is my favorite found family in everything I have read. Hands down. Every character plays a role, and every character has agency, and it's not okay. They rely on their strengths, till the end, from the first scene to the end last scene. That was
Except
really
for the
consistent.
last 15 pages that you don't know about. For context, everyone, Anita decided she wanted to watch an episode of Game of Thrones instead of reading the last 15 pages of Lord's of Uncreation, so she skim read those last 15 pages.
After the live, I'll go back and read page by page, word by word. Okay, but I know what happens.
Yes, Jay.
Yes, there are. Anyway,
they're on my channel.
So there are different alien species in this book. I love the way Tchaikovsky explored those species, and I love the world building. Shards of Earth, I can't decide. Shards of Earth is my favorite or this one. Second book is my least favorite. There is a lot of miscommunication trope in that, and we don't know many details of the antagonist, and this character leads us there, and he doesn't explain to us. It was very frustrating to me.
Not enough archaeology talk.
Yes, this last book have few of those scenes, but at the same time, important scenes. The impact of them are enough, and every character shines. I can't believe how Tchaikovsky pulled it off. It's like he did not focus on one character or two. Every character shines actually when they are in the scene. So
and there's an introduction. He introduces a new point of view character from the get-go, which I was like, that's a gutsy move.
Yeah.
To do that. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Actually, he introduces two POVs, new POVs.
Always
One,
We can go into, but just general thoughts. So
anyway, I liked it a lot. I can't decide this is my favorite or first one actually. And as usual, Tchaikovsky's endings work for me. They're bittersweet. Always work for me. Like I can't see any other way how he can end actually.
Mike, what about you? Before Pete
Um,
falls asleep.
I really like this book. I really like the trilogy. If you count the trilogy as a whole, it's my fourth favorite thing he's written.
Interesting.
And my favorite of the three books is the first book, just because he sets the characters up so well, and like immediately they're great. And I had a few. I had the same complaints with book two as Anita did, where the miscommunication was fine, but there was too much. It was too much. He went too long, and then there was a little bit of something in this book that I didn't like as much. I think book one was the best of the three.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I really like the first one overall because I think it being more action packed, a little bit more action packed, really worked a little bit more for me. And of course, I think all the introductions to the races also worked really well for me. I especially loved the Essiel overall. I think the Essiel are a really fascinating race. And then, of course, our crab accountant Kittering is amazing, and Ollie is amazing. There are definitely frustrations I have with the second and third one. Miscommunication trope is there. But also I felt like there was a lot of... it felt like there was purposeful keeping information from the reader in the second one that frustrated me. And then the third one I thought was really great, but nobody listened to Cassandra, aka Idris, and that also was like one of those like things where it was a miscommunication trope frustration kind of.
Indeed, it is Tchaikovsky.
Yeah,
Sunday.
it is, Matt.
It's really, that could be every day when you really think about it. He's got enough books.
Yeah.
Jay
think-
also ranked Shard's highest as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Matt. Hi, Urza. Miscommunication is one of the worst. It's true. Well,
I think it can be done well.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say I think it's considered the worst trope because it's often not done effectively.
Mm-hmm.
But what were you gonna say, Pete? I'm sorry. Before I.
Yeah, I think that despite my frustrations with the whole like them not listening to Idris, I think it was done decently well. It wasn't done the worst it's ever been in Lords of Uncreation, in my opinion. But like, it was still frustrating in the way that the miscommunication trope always is, to a certain extent.
Meanwhile, I loved Eyes of the Void, and it was my favorite book of the trilogy.
Sad boy.
It's true. Again, I'm just reinforcing my reputation as loving sad books.
You probably hated Lords of Uncreation because Idris just was moping off screen half of it. 3/4 of it.
No, so if I had to actually rank them, I would say like Eyes of the Void, and then as a very close second, Lords of Uncreation, and then Shards of Earth. Shards of Earth is still great though. And I'll just reiterate, because I'm pretty sure I said this in either one or at least both of the previous discussions we've had about these books, or this series, is Tchaikovsky is the one author who makes me realize that like action-driven plots, like he's the one that can write them so compellingly for me. Because I feel like that's his focus is the action. There's still obviously great character work and stuff like that, but yeah, I really like that. And also, alternatively, I don't like Ollie.
You are a monster. You need to leave.
I know, I'm an ableist, apparently.
See, in books 1 and 2, not liking Ollie, at least I understand because she's aggressive. And actually, she's like me. Only thing is, I don't attack. I don't use swear words. That is number 1. Number 2,
And you have hands.
that is obvious, Pete. Obviously,
Or you have.
I'm talking about personalities. I don't use swear words. And number 2, I don't my default state is not aggressive state. I get there after being comfortable with people. Anyway,
Okay.
Ali is, I mean, very polite with new people. Ali is completely different. The- But I see, initially in book one, I understand we are talking spoilers, right?
Yeah, let's go full spoilers. So okay, let me just talk about let me say why I don't like Ollie. So, and then you guys can like harp on me, pile on me, tell me that
If
I'm
you don't
wrong.
like Ollie, means you don't like me. Continue.
Equivalent situation here. But
Look, if you're gonna say that about Fitz,
Yeah,
I think
True.
it fits.
that's why I copied that.
yeah. So so I appreciated Ollie in the first two books. And like I understand where she's coming from. I understand her whole character. But again, let's just go full spoilers here. The one scene that really just exemplified why I get so frustrated with Ollie is in chapter 24 when Ollie is experiencing unspace without the suspension pod. You know, she's in incredible amount of pain. She doesn't have the drugs that she normally takes. And even though she's in so much pain, she's still, and I quote because I'm going back to my notes, still crapping on Idris and others who have emotional reactions to unspace and or pain. It's very frustrating. I understand it's a defense mechanism and a means to deal with unspace and pain, but it's still frustrating, especially considering how Ollie has viewed the Partheny. Ollie just has this chip on her shoulder that frustrates me. And like her perception, like her, I don't know if xenophobia is the right word, but like her idea of the Partheny, like she holds on to it so desperately, even though she's seen these people, she's had human connections with them.
With one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, two different points. One is talking, even after going through so much in unspace, being rude to Idris, that part actually she doesn't mean anything. That's the way she talks. I think she doesn't mean anything even till the end. She never meant that, rudeness, or that's her nature actually. That's the way she talks. I don't think being rude to it's not the same as how we mean when we talk like that. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay. After what, even at the end when Jane talks to her, she complains that your friend Int is giving us trouble. Then he was like, yeah. Then Ollie responds saying, yeah, he's a liability. That she meant it as a joke. She's fond of Idris actually. That's the way Ollie talks about her friends. That's all. That's at least that's the way I understood. She did not.
Oh,
Go ahead,
sorry.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to support your point. It actually is a lot like the way that they hold their funerals when someone dies, when they don't say something nice about people. It's part of their spacer culture and like the way that they communicate with each other.
And to your second point about Partheny, Solace actually, when Tchaikovsky introduced us to Solace, she's a fantastic character. Actually, we see the Partheny spirit in Solace, and at the same time, she was such a great character. How she gelled with the crew, Idris, Chris, everything. So when we like Solace, we also want Ollie to accept Solace. That part I understand. But the thing is, Ollie is right about Partheny. The same way the colonial sphere has bad people like Scaros, even Partheny had bad people. Only thing is, Tchaikovsky never introduced that, it never showed us that side of Partheny till this book. Actually, we did not we did not see that side of Partheny like until that exemplar Mercy betrays. We have only focused on Ascaro. That's why we did. But Ollie is right. There are Partheny like that. What she
But that doesn't justify her lumping them all together. That's a bigoted stance.
So yeah, absolutely. Ollie is at 100% racist. Like we're just gonna say that. Like she is racist against the Partheni.
Yeah.
That being said, so like your particular example of her being like mean towards Solus and Idris as a defense mechanism, she's not being mean. Like those are, to me, that's like just joking around. And I think that this is
I did not take that as joking.
some of this is, I feel like is
I'm sorry, if I were in so much pain, I would not be joking around.
Well,
I would be like,
absolutely.
Also, I think it probably a lot of it, you didn't listen to the audiobook, did you, Evie?
No.
I feel like the delivery in the audiobook probably informed some of this for the people that like, it's like, oh, she clearly liked him and was joking. I feel like the audiobook performance probably portrayed that more than it probably did on the page, maybe.
That's
the words she enunciated, the sentence breaks she gave, that told us a lot what she meant or how she meant.
I don't know. Just some of it, like some of what Ollie says reminds me of working back of house in a restaurant, right? Where everybody says the most horrible things to each other, but it's all said in like basically said in love. I know it doesn't make sense, but like that's just how it works sometimes.
no, I get it. But let's agree to disagree. I still don't like Ollie.
Okay.
Like I understand her, but I don't like how she like her. Again, the chip on her shoulder. Like it just seems.
Yeah, she absolutely does have a chip on her shoulder.
Yeah.
It's true. But for her friends, she is very much just like joking around when she says, "Oh my gosh, that wimp Ollie, that wimp Idris and Solus having to deal with this unspace stuff."
Anyways, plot-wise though, to kind of give it some sort of a little bit of structure.
No, it doesn't work. That's not true. Or is that like because we will, like for instance, it's
true.
I think they were all in on it though.
Yeah, they're all in the. Even Solis understands her perspective.
Anyways,
See, one thing is, the last thing I say about Ollie is, it's nothing against you, Evie, but see, she is disabled and she is treated a different way, so she formed this opinion about Partheni, which is a right opinion. But just because Solis is nice, or just because I like Solis, I don't expect Ollie to be nice to Solis.
I agree with that. Like, but you know, it's the, if you're gonna expect the worst of other people, don't be surprised when people, like, I don't know, there's a, what's it, double-edged sword? No, whatever. I can't remember what the phrase is, but like, it's like Ollie's expecting the worst of the Partheni, so when she's finally proven right, she's like, oh, see, I was right the entire time, negating all of the positive interactions that she's had with
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah,
I think it's also notable that I don't think did Ollie ever actually doubt Solus?
Yes.
Yeah, I think early on she did, yeah.
But I felt like after the rebellion happened, I don't think that there was really any like doubts that crossed her mind of Solus being like the worst.
I mean, she did constantly question, like, oh, she's just gonna follow, like, as soon as the Partheni say give orders.
That is right. She did follow. That is right. Ollie is right. When push comes to shove, when the betrayal happened at Estok, Ollie did follow the instructions. She did not fight Ascaros. She just followed and went back to the ship.
And then figured it out eventually.
Even at the end, even she knows what she needs to do. Even when she wants to rebellion, she did not get herself to do it. Tacts and people. Ollie is right. And I am saying this not because I hated Solis. Solis is one of my favorite characters. I love her. But even then, I agree that Ollie is right.
All right, let's agree to disagree. Well, not agree to disagree. I agree with all your all's points. I still don't like Ollie. But go plot-wise. Let's go back to this.
You broke my heart. I can't continue anymore.
Well, I mean, y'all.
Wow, it's like you have to go back and read those
you guys
15
talk
pages.
about how Idris is the worst in Eyes of the Void, and you know it's fine.
See, none of us said Idris is the worst. All we said was his scenes are boring.
I
Tough
You
to
know who's the
read.
worst?
We don't-
Everybody that doesn't listen to Idris when he's been right every single time.
See, he may be right, but he did not have any solid plan. He did not show them any solution. That's the problem, right? They are ready
But
to.
they didn't think to ask. He
To
just
be
said
fair-
things and they just wave him off like, "Oh, you're just tired and killing yourself."
No,
It's fine.
no.
To be fair, the entire second book he spent saying he needed to tell people things instead of just telling people things. So they probably were tired of hearing it.
But he told them things, and he told them.
Did he?
they were
What
right.
did he
was
tell them other
always
than
right.
I have something very important to tell you? Listen, I have something very important to tell you.
Hey,
I
look,
finally
listen.
understood.
Hey,
I
listen, I have
finally
something important to tell you. It's
understood.
like, just say it.
I finally understood. I finally understood.
So,
Yeah.
so that does this mean Idris is the fairy from Legend of Zelda?
Exactly. That's what I was going for.
The depressed fairy,
Hey.
depressed unspace fairy, Idris.
Anyway,
I
maybe-
did finish,
may-
Matt.
maybe 20th times the charm. Plot wise, I already mentioned at the start. He introduces new perspectives and Deca.
And Deca Telmar, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys listen to the audiobook. You probably know how to pronounce the names. How did you like the start of this book with her perspective and
It was
where
great.
they're all at?
I thought, her and Rabin, the
Rabin.
evil dude. The voice to the evil guy in the audiobook was hilarious. Like that whole accent, it was like really weird, nasally, high pitched Russian accent.
I was gonna say, was it like a Russian accent because it's like
Yeah.
a Russian name? So
Yeah, but like just like dialed up on the chipmunk scale a little bit. It was weird.
well, I mean, isn't that because you were listening to it on 2x speed or something?
No, it was not. At 1 speed, it was like that as well. But I was at
Yeah.
1.2 because I'm, a baby.
But Mike, what are your thoughts? I know it's been a while.
I liked the plotting of the third book for the most part. My one complaint with the book was and I liked the idea of them having the anchor ship and the ship in unspace and bobbing in and out. I thought that whole concept was neat, and I liked how they did it. I just felt like there wasn't a good sense of the amount of time that was passing while this was happening. You know what? You couldn't get a real. It's like, oh, they have to do this thing and it's urgent and they're getting chased and then they're like running out of food and they have to get supply drops and it's like, well, it wasn't very clear the amount of time that this whole process was taking. Was it
Yeah.
weeks? Was it hours? I didn't like that specific thing, but almost everything else about the book I liked, plot wise. Yeah.
It was,
Another
that's ahead.
thing related to this is I don't understand how dumb humans are in this book. First of
Really?
all, I was angry that they're playing politics, but that at least I understand they're playing politics. But before, their initial plan was the Partheni ship to be their anchor, but architects attacked and Partheni ship is blown up, and Vulture God became anchor. At that time, Kit announced everyone that okay, we are going to be anchor, we need all the distraction we get. Okay, so everyone knows that the remaining colonial ships knew that Vulture God is the anchor.
All of those colonial ships died.
No, not yet. One is there, Hawaii and that Diljath, that ship is still there. See, I don't expect things from other political players or Hugh government, but Hawaii is CIA technically. I expect them to be smart. But once they are back, when they are discussing, when that boss asks him, okay, these architects are following Vulture Gods. They're like, oh, why I need to? Okay, we'll provide supplies in return for answers. I mean, they connect dots? I was like, okay, they have to be explained again. I was so bored actually. I mean, catch on with what is happening. Why are you so dumb? That's how I felt.
So, I would say this is an example of the uberlogical reader fallacy, where we know so much more information and we can make the correct decisions based on all the information we have. Yes, is humanity as a group very dumb? Yes, and we also like to control the things that we don't understand. And that was kind of like the gut backed against the wall reaction to what they had, right? With pretty much everything. And we saw this on multiple levels of different organizations where everybody tried to control what they could. Like this is the entire reason why everybody wouldn't listen to Idris, was because they had a goal, like you were saying, they had a goal, they had a plan. What Idris was saying was an unknown, and they couldn't control it, but they could control their actions against what's called the agents, the architects. So they're gonna work with like they're in this fight or flight situation, and they found a way to fight, so they're going to fight. And additionally, if we go back to the Hugh and all them, Javier is just like a bit player. Like he's in the CIA, but he is not very high.
Wait, is that how you pronounce his name?
No, it's Javier.
I do not like the way she pronounced his name. It's closer to Javier.
It's not Javier.
It is. It's a kind of like a weird Anglicization of Havier, which would be Javier or Javier. That's just my personal
Continue.
thing.
I'm sorry, Pete.
Yeah. But Javier is a bit player in the CIA, in the space CIA. Nobody, like everybody wants to know, but they actually want everything to fall into the gaps that they can control, right? So if information is coming in and telling them, hey, you actually can't control that, they have a huge confirmation bias that tells them, nope, we're going to control as much as we can. So if we think that these architects are going after the Vulture God and threatening things, like that whole thing, which is like, what happens when they start extorting planets? That literally happened like 2 chapters before, where they're like, we're just going to start sending these out and getting stuff from them. Like, I understand where they're coming from as cornered dogs. Like, they're in a corner, they want to control and do what they can.
The same logic applies to those people not listening to Idris. Why are you understanding here and why are you not understanding there?
No, I literally just said that. Like, I am very frustrated with the people not listening to Idris, but I understand why they're not listening to him.
Yes, I did read the book, Sal.
Less 15 pages.
I did read the book. All she asked is if I had read the book. The answer is yes.
Does
Less
Simeon
15
count as
pages.
reading, though?
No, absolutely not. Speed readers don't read. It's confirmed.
That
Anyway.
means you don't read.
One thing that I really liked at the start of this book is just Idris's training of the Ents, the new class of Ents, which we get, I think, if I recall correctly, if I remember right, we get it through Indeka's perspective, because she's one of the new class or whatever, right?
Andika is colonial int. Idris did not train her. I mean,
They
once in the eye they are a team. Yes, he's training.
That's what she's talking about.
Okay, I will tell you, Matt. I have like 15 pages left and 15 minutes left. My brain is fired, so I skim through last 15 pages. I know what happens after the live. I go back and read word by word.
Okay. So we'll put that to bed. Well, like Anita's gonna finish it. It's fine. Like it's fine. She's got the gist of it.
This is what I heard.
Okay, so was I wrong or was I right? Was Indeed?
No, you were right.
Endeka is not. Endeka is the person who we see in book 1 ending, who stands beside Berlinhoff, who is the new int who volunteered, first int who volunteered.
Yes.
So Idris did not train her to become int. He only trained as part of this eye project.
And that's what I think you're talking about, Evie.
Yeah.
It's talking about the training for the eye.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, go ahead.
No, I liked that the whole the aspect that I loved, the reason why I loved Eyes of the Void the most is just the whole unspace and the just creepiness of unspace, and that in those moments in Lords of Uncreation of exploring unspace, going down to the what do they call it? There's like the lower level or whatever, where they're thinking it's like a level, but it's actually, when Idris discovers it, it's a point.
The well?
Yes. I really
Yeah.
liked that. So
Yeah, I really like that as well. Like, especially, I really like the ending where Idris becomes one with the presence.
that I lost my mind. I was bawling.
Like patron saint of unspace. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
I imagine it as a giant glowing stone with hospital chairs around it, like creepy psych ward hospital chairs that had stuff hooked up to them.
I imagined a big globe inside. Yes, what Pete said. I did not imagine hospital, but I just imagined like those MRI machines.
That works too.
Am I? What does FTL stand for? Am I?
Faster than light. Faster than light,
Oh, got it. Okay, thank you. How did you envision the eye, Mike? To match
I
with
don't know that I had. I don't know that I had a specific vision of what it was. I kind of the way I vision. So the eye was definitely in real space, and they could interact with it and go into it and interact with it. But I feel like it was still a part, like because it would go into the deep unspace. I felt like deep unspace was like a weird fourth dimension that humans can't perceive well, and it's so what you think you're seeing is not even really what you're seeing. So, and different people might even see it the different ways. Yeah, I imagine the eye was I imagine the eye was sort of like, let's say, like a force field ball, and then there was stuff built into it. Like, you know what I mean? There was like human architecture or physical architecture built inside of it, but they were two separate things almost.
Matt, you're talking about host. Okay, there are two different things. I is what we have seen in that Cricket's Hell in book 2, where at the end Idris pulled it out of that horrible planet. That pieces of arcs with space between them held together is a host, which is introduced only in this book. They found this lost arc ship, and that is still working. Both are different. Only in this, actually, that eye, what they found with all that machines, they inserted in this arc.
It wasn't an arc ship, though.
I have a weird. Oh, sorry. Have any of you ever seen the movie? It's an old movie from the 80s called The Explorers. It has like River Phoenix. Anyway, not to spoil anything. They figure out how to make this like force bubble, and then they build a spaceship out of junk that they put the force bubble around, and so they like fly around it. But it's really just a ball of junk that they built that they can sit in. The force field itself is what's doing this stuff. So that's kind of how I imagine the eye. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie for an 80s movie.
I imagined, I mean, they are going into the well, right? That I imagined. Have you guys watched the Core movie where they go inside the earth crust to stop or to turn the earth? Yeah. That's how I imagined the ship.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go, Mike. Someone's seen it.
I've seen it. Nice. I love the descriptions of Ahab in this one. I feel like I didn't have a firm grasp on what Ahab looked like, but there was some more vivid descriptions in this one that I was like, oh my goodness, that's actually really cool.
I had when I picture Ahab in this, I kind of picture him like Howl's Moving Castle in the Ghibli film, where when that castle's walking around on the weird little stilt legs and stuff.
I love that castle, actually. That is a great animation.
All right, someone jog my memory. Which one is Ahab? Is that the Essiel?
No, Ahab is the
Neromathy. Neromathy guy.
The guy who's all caked up in metal.
Oh!
He's like the giant slug with
got it.
robotic legs.
Okay.
Yeah. Eel-like with like 6 robotic legs, and literally everything is metal.
Got it. Okay, yeah, I was thinking of Aklu, but never mind.
Aklu's a whole nother box of worms, can of worms, clam of worms.
Okay, guys, I want to talk about Aklu. I told you in book 1, immediately after seeing Ollie, he had this reaction. I was like, okay, Aklu likes Ollie. I was worried that he'll turn her to Totiar, but it went completely in different direction, which I like. But that entire bond between Aklu and Ollie, that's one of my favorite things in this book, actually. The Aklu is the one who says that, of course, Major Domo translates Aklu's
Words.
dialogues, but Ollie doesn't let the boundaries of universe impede her. That is my favorite dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there was a really, really just hard line that I loved about like Aklu's role in hegemonic society. Also, can we say that I hate how that the audio narrator was saying hegemony the entire time? That was a little irritating, but that's just me.
Wait, they pronounced it hegemony, not hegemony?
Yeah,
Or sorry, hegemony.
hegemony. Yeah. It was
I feel
hegemony.
like they pronounce it in both ways. It depends on which character is saying it. I was so confused. Is it hegemony or hegemony?
The flat narration was hegemony, without like a character perspective behind it.
I do agree with this. Ollie getting Aklu's legs was amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
Okay, where is my Aklu line about?
Well, while you're searching for that, Pete, actually, hold on. Is this? Maybe is this it? Description of something in risen. Oh no, that's not it. Never mind.
Yeah, from chapter 12. So
I was thinking of chapter 8, but I will just say, kind of Aklu related. I just have a note here about the body horror of the state of the scythe. The Ogru on board being dead, the Hiver Major Domo being killed. By the way, that made me so sad. And then Aklu being cut out and Harriman being like literally through a wall and having to be cut free by Ollie. Like,
and then like
oh my
after
God.
Ollie cut through her, like her leg was still like sending out little tentacles trying to find the rest of the leg.
I know. So
gross, but so cool.
Yeah.
And they just gave her a new body, like it was nothing.
Anyways, what were you gonna say? Did you find the quote, Pete?
Yes. So like the part of the quote that I really like is like, if railing against fate is wrong, let us do wrong. Let us do all the acts unspeakable, break all the laws, fight that which must be borne, be wicked, know no grace, refuse all walls. And so, though we be cursed, reviled, denied, so we yet serve the way that we have left behind. When comes the threat the shell cannot resist, there it shall find us, waiting.
I like that as well. I have a question. Related to Aklu and Ollie. At the end, Ollie realizes that she became heir of everything belongs to Aklu, right? And she realizes that she inherits his responsibilities as well. So we have seen in couple of scenes in this book that Sale was punishing Aklu as well. So are they going to punish Ollie as well in future?
Yeah,
I'm very worried about that.
Carve her. But she doesn't have a shell to carve into. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think Ollie's gonna change that. Like, since she has control of Broken Harvest, she's gonna just be like, she's gonna go crazy and overhaul them. And
it's kind of an interesting situation because like the insanely ritualized part of the hegemonic like role that she is part of, like she can't necessarily fulfill all of the ritualized parts. Like the part that we see at the very beginning, right, when they're like burning the light into the shell.
Yeah, that one. And later, when they go to that big hegemonic city, they make Aklu crawl. But I'm sure Ollie. I mean, I don't know where Tchaikovsky takes that if he writes in a novella about Ollie.
Likely would never have to do that.
That's my hope as well.
That was Ollie. That was Aklu going to the mothership of all places to, like, that's the point at which Aklu probably, if he had to ask, probably asked to give his, like, give himself up, give his title over to Ollie. But also that's the point where he's like, hey, can I have a nuclear bomb, please?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about two other characters. I mean, I want to talk about everything, but I loved how Tchaikovsky used character strengths at the end, like when Idris recruited Chris and Solis for uh, speak up for himself. He used Chris's career lawyer ability to convince the rest of the team. And one of my favorite scene between Idris and Chris, when he tells him that that's why it's going to be Solis, that Solis is going to accompany him to go to the heart of everything. He read there too that she had wanted to put herself forward for it as his business partner, his friend, but she hadn't quite mustered the courage. The abyss, the very thought of it had defeated her. But as his representative, she had done her duty. She had got someone who she knew cared just as much about him, was strong, and would dare anything. I mean, that's such a great moment between them two, which tells us how close they are, how deep their bond is actually. I really love the deep friendship, genuine friendship between these two characters. And also, when he took Solace inside to talk to the masters and left Solace there, how Solace faced them by imagining her armor, that is such a powerful scene. Actually, I had tears while reading that book. I'm, Tchaikovsky did a fantastic job in giving every character agency. These two characters are not ins. They don't have, while beginning, when they are starting their journey, we do think, at least I thought, they don't have a role to play other than being a support to Idris because they are close to Idris. But they did have they did play the role. Tchaikovsky managed to give them that agency at the end. I really loved that.
Yeah, and by extension, even speaking of like giving characters agency and like their own like fleshed out arcs or whatever, Kolvari, I was beside myself.
I think the worst deaths in this series were all hivers.
Yes,
Yeah.
Kolvari, Trine, and
Kolvari,
both of the hiver factories, both of them. It's such an heartbreaking thing.
Yeah,
Barney from book 2 was also terrible. I think it was book 2.
True. Yeah, Kolvari saying it's just us, we're the only survivor. Like, oh god. And then him telling Javier mission comes first. Isn't that the Morden House dogma?
He changed. Kolvari managed to change Javier's. I am also saying Javier. Pete. Wow.
It's Javier. It's what it is.
It's not. It's not. Javier. Kolvari managed to change Javier's thought process and perspective. He became more kind. He became
Which is what I wanted Ollie to be.
He became more broad-minded. Ollie also became broad-minded and accepting. Only thing is, we don't see that because of her nature. The way she talks, we don't see that. But Ollie did become much better. There is a change in her character from first book to this book. That is my hill.
And Ollie can't change too much, or she wouldn't be able to fulfill her role as the razor and the hook.
It's true.
She has an archetype to fill now. She has a very important job.
Don't you mean the toothbrush and the cloth?
No, that's me.
Oh, that's just great. He was talking about on the live stream earlier today of like possibly doing an Ollie like follow-up. Oh my gosh. I would love that.
I saw the look on your face and the pure joy that you had of like, oh!
Oh, he's so fun! Oh my gosh, just Ollie out there doing crimes, being unspeakable.
It's yeah. To Jay's question here, like, I think that
it's literally
all the human characters that are in this series, like the non-human alien characters, whether they be artificial or organic, like they are the most. I don't want to say they're the most compelling, but like. I felt myself most attached to them emotionally. Yeah. Even though I obviously Idris is my favorite character, but like outside of him, like Kit, Kolvari, is like I have a hard time like.
I think I am more.
She's a humanoid character or not? Is Ash a humanoid character?
No.
No.
No, okay. I was interested in him.
Fine.
And then Trine.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Trine!
Trine was the worst. Trine was the
What
worst.
are you talking about? Trine
Was the worst death. Trine was the best, but the worst death for me.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying that.
Because first you have her become not Trine, and then you actually have the body and memories die.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the wild thing is, it's sort of interesting that, like you said, some of the worst deaths in the book are all Hiver deaths.
All of them.
But the way Hiver society is, they're constantly dying because they return to the hive and they lose their individuality. They lose themselves back into the hive. They take memories and things with them, but they are no longer themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a neat mirror effect of, well, as a culture, they're used to saying, okay, I'm done here. It's time for me to die, and then go back to the hive and like reincorporate and disincorporate themselves as a self.
Mm-hmm.
And then them being killed by an outside force and losing themselves and all their experiences is so much worse for some reason.
Yeah.
But you know what? Both in Crux and even at the end in Berlinhof, Hivers are the first one to go for defense, actually.
Yeah.
That was really amazing. The spirit they have, even after what they lost.
But I think it's because of what they are. They are the most rational of all of the groups in the whole book. Like they're the most logical and rational of all of them. So
good.
And I think next to very close second is oh my God, Kit's species.
Hanilambra.
Yeah.
Thank you. They also have a similar like cultural worldview of like, or even also biological like life cycle.
You retire, you die.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to bring up one point.
Yep.
That's such a cool connection. I don't know if Tchaikovsky planned this from the beginning. In the first chapter, at least like one of the first scenes in book 2, Eyes of the Void, we see that Kit is interested in playing games, and he tied it at the end, playing with Ollie's defensive these parts, everything. Kit is the one who did that. I love that. I was like, oh my God. Tchaikovsky kept talking about how interested Kit is in playing games, and that's exactly what he's doing. I love that scene, that connection actually. I love when authors able to tie up the things we saw, like casual things. At that point, we don't think it is important to the plot, but that is very important in going against the antagonist.
Well, considering he had mentioned, he mentioned earlier today, and he also has mentioned in other like interviews that his focus is the world building. So it wouldn't surprise me if including that world building bit about the games was purposeful.
Yeah. I'm sure he set it up. Yeah. I think so. Going back to the Hivers real quick, I think the Hivers is an interesting contrast when you contrast it with the live ships from Realm of the Underlings, because with the with the Hivers, they can have all the memories, but they're still not the same person. Whereas the live ships are exclusively made up of memories. Like their identity is determined by the memories that they have and do not have.
Yeah.
I think that's just a really interesting contrast to think about in terms of how we define the self.
Who do you like more, Hivers or live ships?
I kind of like Hivers more because I don't know, just Trine is great. I definitely was more attached to more Hiver characters than I was live ship characters. I'm sorry, Paragon.
It's fine.
But like archaeology.
Accounting.
Yeah.
That could be because sorry, Evie. Because
why you
live ships are dragons, they're inherently selfish actually. They are more mean. Yes, in the form of live ships, they may be friendly to your family, but when the dragon memory is back, it's all about them. But Hivers are not like that. They are selfless most of the times.
They're I mean, to Pete's point, there's an awareness of you are in the collective as opposed to I
But
don't
they
know.
become more individual once they're away from that.
And the longer they're away,
Mm-hmm.
and also the experience they have while they're away. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure that the experience, if you experience friendship and things, you're going to be more individualistic and less likely to want to go back than somebody that's just out for a job and okay, job's
Yeah.
done.
And like if you look at like how Kennett's story went, versus I'm gonna try to avoid as many spoilers as possible, but um, Hobb definitely views memory as a integral part of self, not necessarily experience, right? Like between the whole thing that happened with Kennett, you know, he because he once he got his memories back, I felt like I don't know.
Sorry, there was a cat fight. Literally.
Nice.
Everyone's good. Sorry, so I missed that last little bit because I was distracted.
Mm-hmm.
The more individual, the longer a hiver is able to remain an individual, the more the individual they become.
I just feel like the interplay between memory and experience is so much less in Hobbes' realm of the underlings philosophy. Like she views them as the same thing, whereas in Tchaikovsky's view of the hivers, memory and experience are two completely different things because the experience will make you, but if you can have the memory and still not have the person because you don't have the actual lived in experience. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. All right. Any other general thoughts that you can hopefully spark my memory on that this Wikipedia article?
Do you want to talk about Idris and the ending?
I mean, we kind of already did. Of how
What-
I bawled like a baby.
What did you think of the actual ending? Like what the originators ended up being and the whole ending of the thing? What did you guys think of it? Did you guys have any theory? Did you predict it? Did you have any theories going in of what it would end up being? I had a
No.
theory that it was completely wrong. Going into book 3, I thought that they were going to find out they were living in a simulation, and the architects were basically programs being sent in by the programmer to like wipe out aberrant outline behavior or something. I really thought they were like they thought they would be in a simulation and became sentient, and they were fighting back against that's what I thought. So, but I like the ending he went with, but I think either one could have worked. But I did like both.
Okay. First of all, if I had theories, I don't remember what they are. I read this book so in the moment, like, okay, what Solace is doing, what Chris is doing, what Idris is doing, what Ollie and Kit are doing. I like every scene. They are there, and I like their choices. I like their actions, and I like the ending a lot. What I understand what Idris did, but somehow I don't care about who are there, who they went against, who are there in that heart of the heart of everything. I just did not care. Whoever it was, okay, we have to defeat them, and everything else same. It doesn't matter. You replace that masters with anybody. It just did not matter to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely theorized that the originators were at the center of every, or were the people controlling the architects, that were the Lords of Uncreation. I think it's really interesting. They didn't actually one of the theories that I thought Idris was going to do. So they were talking about how the originators were trying to flip the universe back into a way that fit them in how they thought it should be based on how the universe was when they, you know, whatever. I thought that Idris was going to pull the lever and change the originators so they fit with the universe instead of them trying to change the universe to fit them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was just going to be like, well, you're people now, so deal with it and don't come back to this place. But I think the turning into the, like, merging with the presence and turning the presence on the originators was a good solution as well.
That I did not expect at all.
No, I didn't either. I thought that was really cool, honestly, just to see him, like, hey, old buddy, old pen friend, old fear, old pal.
Yeah, him embrace just the pure melancholy of Idris's character, for him to embrace the presence and become that thing that he was so drawn to, that also everyone fears, and even he feared to a degree. I thought it was just very poetic in its execution. But I don't think I had any theories about
But
the
you know,
originators. But I did like. I probably had suspicions of like, this is weird. Like, they seemed way too connected to each other to, especially as the series got on. Like, there was things like, oh, why would they put stuff, the ruins, and why are they always at originators' sites, or architects going to originator sites? And
Yeah,
it's like,
it was one of those things of he didn't sow. I figured it was probably the originators, because he really didn't sow any seeds about how the originators died. So it's one of those things, if he's not going to sow the seeds about their death, then they're going to be alive. So that means that they are either in hiding and they're going to do the whole hidden warrior, bring the originators out to destroy the evil lords of Uncreation, or they're just the same person. So it wasn't like
they are the evil.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm forgetting something important. I don't know what is that.
That's probably in the last 15 pages of the book that you skimmed, Anita.
Mm-hmm. Probably is.
I mean, okay. See, Partheni took care of the coup and everything. But Uskaro family is still there. Magda is still there. There is no resolution there.
Ish. I mean, they don't have as much power anymore. And their whole scheme for putting all of humanity into the arcs and going to the stars isn't just like not able to happen anymore, but it's just irrelevant, because there are no architects trying to destroy planets.
That they're not going to believe so soon. See, first of all, they did not even believe that the value of the project, value of the mission they went. So as architects went back now, but now nobody knows that they're not going to come back again. So
I mean, all of the ints are reporting back, because all of the ints were around and were able to witness to a certain extent what happens, and all of the ints are able to report back about the difference in unspace.
Yes, that may be true.
That's the big issue.
That may be true, but it is very difficult to convince that stupid few government, at least.
You're right.
That's how I feel.
And that's why Chris is there fighting the good fight for the rights of all ints.
Lawyers stuff.
Lawyers are the best. And funny fact, she's not the only human rights lawyer in his books.
Yep.
Go read
There's one in Dogs of War series. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that a little bit more now. He keeps talking about it. I'm like, I need to read this. I need to read this.
It's a short, fast read. You'll yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I'm torn. I don't know. I might bring either Spiderlight or Dogs of War with me to Dragonsteel. And if I get to it, I get to it.
Cool. All right, we're almost at an hour, and I feel like I have not carried this conversation at all, so thank you, everyone else, for doing that for me. Anything else that you want to talk about that we haven't talked about, or do you want to talk about more, other than fighting about Ollie? Because I will be...
Did you guys surprised that what Aklu did in S-Talk system, that he was able to carry...
What the big weapon was?
Remind me?
So basically, they brought in a tiny ship, and then they brought the architects in. Like, it was just an architect beacon.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Matt, honestly, we would have had much more interesting... I can think of very specific parts that would have been much more interesting if Tchaikovsky had written some of them.
Yeah.
Like, Miller would be a completely different thing and be great. Oh my gosh. Like, I liked the way that Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank wrote it.
What do you say about Mercy of Gods? Do you feel the same?
About if it would have been better if Tchaikovsky wrote it.
Mm.
Yeah,
See,
I think Tchaikovsky
Tchaikovsky.
would have focused on the things that I wanted them to focus on, which is
Okay.
all the aliens.
See, I loved Mercy of Gods. It is probably my favorite read of the year, that I'm not sure. But Mercy of the Gods is little bleak. Somehow Tchaikovsky books are lighter, even though it has darker themes.
House of Open Wounds.
It's true. Actually, I have a question for Mike. Mike,
Yep.
since you've read all of Tchaikovsky's books, what would you say is where would you recommend people go next with Tchaikovsky's work, specifically sci-fi?
Children of Time.
I mean, Children of Time is my favorite book by him, and it's my favorite sci-fi book now. What I ask when somebody's looking to read Tchaikovsky sci-fi, I ask them 3 questions. Or I ask them, do you like Star Trek? If you like Star Trek, read Children of Time. If you like Firefly, read Shards of Earth. And if you like things like X-Files or Fringe, you should read Doors of Eden. And then I guess if you like near future military sci-fi, Dogs of War. I need to find a good show to tie into Dogs of War. So any of those are good to go to next. Honestly,
It from what I've heard about it, would Edge of Tomorrow, even though it's a film, would that be a good comparison for Dogs of War?
no, not real. There's like no
time travel.
There's no
stuff?
time travel shenanigans at all.
Never mind.
Excuse me, Evie, why are you asking? Aren't you supposed to start Shadows of the Apt?
Because this is a sci-fi. I'm asking.
No,
It's a hypothetical.
no.
This is not for me. This is for everyone.
Okay, Matt has a question. Which Tchaikovsky is good if you like Farseer?
Frasier.
Frasier.
Elder Race.
So sorry. I am tired.
Yeah, Elder Race would probably be.
Depression.
That is a good. I don't know that I would have to think about that.
Frasier, is that the sitcom? What is
Sitcom with a psychologist, yeah.
Huh.
I know Rogue said Doors of Eden's his least favorite. My least favorite is Cage of Souls.
I'm excited to get to
Remember
that
when
one.
we were supposed to read that?
We need
I
a buddy read that specifically because it's supposed to be the worst Tchaikovsky.
I don't think it's the worst Tchaikovsky. It's my least favorite. You like Alien Clay, so you very well might like Age of Souls. Alien Clay was pretty far down for me.
All right. Well, we've been going for an hour, and
Is that
we
a hand
need to actually finish that last 15 pages. But final thoughts.
Loved it. Ollie's the best. Evie is wrong.
I mean, I'm wrong about everything, so I'm very rarely right. So
this trilogy has one of the best motley crew where every character has agency, every character has their own strengths. So it is very entertaining. It is fast paced. So don't get nervous because it's sci-fi or space things or alien species are there. Read and enjoy and find your favorite book here and find a new favorite author.
I read what Matt said as oil is the best. And I was like, Matt, you're not an American. Are you? Are you becoming an American?
He was born in America.
Oh. I just associate him with Germany. Whoopsie.
He is everywhere. Born in America, raised in Australia, living in Germany. But
Matt is literally Mr. Worldwide. So
yeah,
all the characters.
Yeah, I think this trilogy is some of his best character work. I think Guns of the Dawn also is some of his best character work. Children of Time's my favorite, and I like the stuff in it, but it's not my favorite because of the characters. It's hard to explain, but Dogs of War has great characters. So if you're looking for more characters,
I think he is improving in terms of characters because initially his first series was Shadows of the Apt, and his entire focus is on world building. I liked characters, but not like favorite characters like that.
Yeah.
So and Guns of the Dawn has fantastic main lead. Actually, I think I do like the entire that friend group in the army as well. But this is definitely my favorite characters in Tchaikovsky books.
They're all very distinct. So
Yeah.
and I actually remember their names for the most part. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you're not going to get, a crab mixed up with a random bunch of bugs, whatever.
there you go, Jesse.
The Great Mendellini is what his name is. Get it right.
All right, cool. For anyone that joined at the very end, I'm so sorry, but hopefully you didn't get anything too spoiled for you if you haven't read the books. Matt on books. It's very late for you, so thank you for staying up.
Yes.
Read Final Architecture, read Adrian Tchaikovsky in general, and thank you
And
guys
by
for
Guns
joining.
of the Dawn.
By Guns of the Dawn.
So that we can get
Bye.
Guns of the Dawn 2, Electric Boogaloo. So,
Oh, it's only one. Too early.
I mean, that's debatable. But anyways,
The night
thank you,
is
Anita.
young.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Mike, for joining.
Thank you. 6 months early, too.
You know, we originally planned this for April 1st of next year, and
I'm 6 months early, obviously. You guys said April 2025, and I brought it.
We did schedule it for April 1st, so in reality, it was an April Fool's joke.
No.
True. I will just say officially now, Anita, we can plan our next buddy read.
True.
What is it going to be?
All right. Anyways, thank you again for joining me on screen and also in chat. I don't know when the next read along discussion thing is going to happen. I will let people know. So, actually, no, I do. We're going to be discussing Nation by Terry Pratchett for folks that have read that for the book club on Alan's Discord server.
Yes, ma'am.
Hopefully that will be next weekend. We're trying to figure out a date. So
Not next weekend. The weekend after is what you were saying was the first weekend of December.
Second
Wait, no,
weekend
no.
of this.
No,
December 14th, second
Oh,
week.
yeah, you're right.
I did
Next
not.
week. I was wrong. Ignore me.
Yeah, Pete, you play Dragonsteel.
I am
Yeah,
not
'cause
even
originally
part
the
of it.
next one-
I know it better. Anyway.
No, it's this coming weekend because I asked Pete if he would be able to finish it by Friday.
Yeah, this is vacation. I'm going to be playing board games and reading. And
You
then
mean
talking to
turkey.
people Wednesday night.
Cool. All right, cool.
Because
cool.
we have that. We have that.
That's
There
another
we
thing.
go.
I have a question.
Colors in the Steel discussion on Wednesday. Yes.
Why do you need to go on vacation if you're just reading and board gaming? That you can
Because
sit at home and
My
do it, right?
mother and I are driving to my brother's house to
For
have
Turkey Day.
Thanksgiving with my brother, his wife, and the new baby.
Okay. So you're not going to talk to them?
No, I'll probably be playing a bunch of board games with my brother, honestly.
Nice.
You can
Have
ignore
fun.
the baby. Who cares about babies?
It's true. Okay, cool. This is gonna be like a Southern Midwest goodbye situation, and Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Thank you
Bye,
for
guys.
coming on. Thank you for spending your Sunday night with us.
what do you think? This is your channel, Anita?
Bye.
All right,
Everything's
bye,
in
guys.
this channel. What are you talking about?
I mean, yes, your